Yeah, some people do know X talk, like in their relationships.
That's insane.
Couldn't understand that.
No.
I want to know everything about everyone. I want to see
everything.
them. And I want to see how they're doing now.
Honestly, I'd like to talk with them. Welcome to When Harry Dumped Sally. Wow, at the same time, good for us.
It was so good. We're getting the swing of things, I think.
Yeah, this is our 4th episode, and we watched Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
Which is this contemporary romantic comedy based on a global bestseller follows native New Yorker Rachel Chu to Singapore to meet her boyfriend's family. I did not know this was based on a book. So now we know. It follows Rachel, who is dating Nick, who she does not know is super rich. And then she finds out and she meets his crazy rich family.
Yeah, this is a very, it's a rom-com.
A rom-com, yes. Yeah. He is actually in love with his mom, as many men are.
It's disgusting. I have a lot to say about a lot of that.
I do have a lot to say about that, but I will also say I love Michelle Yeoh, so like I was obsessed with her as this mom.
She was so good, and she was so good from the start.
Yes. Incredible performance. Like I was obsessed with her. It made me almost not hate this mom because of how much I loved her performance. I was like, yeah, she's totally justified being this much of a bitch.
She can do it. She can get worse. She can get meaner.
I know. It's like, maybe be like mean.
Be mean to me.
Yeah. I'm like, you could be my mean mother-in-law. That would be fine.
Yeah, she's amazing. I could watch her do anything.
Yes. So we'll go through the whole movie, but do you want to
We do the thing off the bat,
how long
right?
we think they're going to
All right,
last?
give me a second. I haven't processed it.
I feel like I have 2 potential responses. So if you...
let me think.
Okay, here, I'll do my...
No, I got my answer too.
All right. You do yours.
We do it at the same time.
Do you want to do it at the same time?
That's what we've done most times, right?
I think we didn't do it that way last time, but let's do it that way this time.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
2.5 years.
Or maybe forever.
I'm open to forever as well. I
think it could be the first forever. I think we'll talk about it, but I think for me, I'm like, either this engagement, it's either going to fall apart during the engagement, which like before they actually get married, which I think is very likely. If they do end up getting married though, I think no matter how bad it gets, that prenup is going to be so intense. There's no way she's leaving. Yeah. Like I think if she goes through with marrying him, then it's a long time, but I don't know. I have seen this movie before, and for some reason I thought it actually ended with them getting married, but I must have been thinking about the other wedding.
I think it makes sense.
So the fact that it just ends with this engagement, I think that the mom is going to make her life hell, and she might decide that it's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really depends on where they end up. If it's New York, it feels like they'll only get to be in New York for a year. It feels like it's gonna end up in Singapore, which will be like another case that I'm so frustrated by, of this like woman ruining her career for a guy sort of thing we've been seeing in a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna be honest though, his family does have a lot of money.
Yes. Yes, they do.
I might ruin my career for him.
For that kind of money?
For that kind of money?
Yeah.
I had a lot throughout this movie where I was just like, right off the bat, I wish I could be like a douchebag rich kid. And I realized being the like poor girl that marries into the rich family, that doesn't actually sound fun.
No.
But I really want to be a douchebag rich kid every time I watch it, I'm just like, oh my God.
What a life.
I'm like, what a great time these people are having. There's no consequences for their actions. Like, you're just a monster.
Yes.
And I want to be a monster.
What, if you had that kind of money, what's the bachelorette party you would plan?
Oh my God. Okay, we're going to get to these fucking things.
Okay.
That bachelorette party sucked.
Okay.
Because the bachelor party was way better. That is what I would do.
Yeah, the bachelor party was way better. Well, okay, we'll get to it. We should focus.
All right, let's, okay, off the bat, we start in 1995.
Yep.
We're seeing Michelle Yeoh, what's his name again? Nick's mom.
Yep.
With him.
Her name's Eleanor.
Eleanor. Great name for her.
Love Eleanor.
Okay, Eleanor. Which I felt like she had 2 kids, and then I was like, does he have a sister? Did we meet his sister?
If he has a sister, we did not meet her.
I was so
I
confused.
kept trying to figure out, like, where's this other sibling? Is it another sibling? Maybe it's
it was
a cousin.
And that was because his aunt was there in the hotel scene.
Yeah, I think probably cousin.
So he's an only child also. He's inheriting all this money. Eleanor's at this hotel.
Oh, yeah.
This man is like so racist right off the bat, not letting this Asian woman stay in his hotel.
You know, they were like so racist in like 1995 London.
You didn't know they were so racist in 1995?
I don't know, 1995 London? Just like, you don't want her money at your hotel?
Yeah.
They weren't letting Eleanor into the hotel, even though she booked. So I assume she put down money?
Yeah, it was very insane. It was like, it's a very nice hotel. So I don't know. But he was super racist right off the bat. And then she buys the hotel.
Like within that evening, like within an hour.
And I love great introduction to her. I was like, fire this man, kill him. I loved her. Yes. She's like, do get a mop. The floor is wet.
I loved her.
I was like, I will do anything for you.
I'm like, I'll just watch her forever. That was amazing.
Yes. And it really did make me forget that she is a truly awful mom throughout this entire. I loved her so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Then we go to NYU.
Yes, where we see Rachel
is teaching at first. Okay.
At first, it seems like she's in a poker show. It feels like she's in a show as a professional poker player. That's the vibe they give off.
She teaches poker,
but then
I was like, oh, psychology,
and then ultimately game theory
and economics.
Yes.
And game theory in economics. I don't understand economics at all. It was my least favorite class I took in high school.
I remember taking it in high school, and we had a teacher who was so bad. And I remember he had us watch that movie with Mr. Gecko.
Mr. Gecko?
I feel like Michael Douglas is in it. Maybe I'm making it up. Those 2 things I remember: him having watched some like weird finance movie that doesn't teach you anything, and him telling us a lesson about what's the term when stuff gets less valuable the more you have of it? Diminishing returns.
Oh, sure.
And the way he explained diminishing returns to us is like, you have 1 Snickers bar and it's great, and you have 3 and you're like, this is pretty good, but then as you have more, you don't really want any more Snickers bars. And that was the whole lesson. And those are the 2 things I remember from this class.
That taught me a lot about that.
Yeah,
just right now. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like
you're an economics professor now.
I am. Now I can teach poker.
Yeah, and actually her takeaway from that was like, her student lost because he's cheap. I think
yeah, I was like, I don't know what we learned here, but I also, again, I almost got a D and I was like a very good student in high school. I was like A's, maybe B's, and I went to my teacher and just cried until she turned it to a C. So I am
effective.
Yeah, and I know how to get what I want, and by that I mean be really annoying, so the teacher's just like, I don't fucking care, just
you're
go
just
home.
an Eleanor waiting for the money.
Yeah, I would be such a good, I just like, sometimes I watch rich people movies, I'm like, I want to be that much of a bitch. Like, that's not fair. I don't have enough money to be that much of a bitch.
It's crazy. Okay, so then after this, we see her and her boyfriend, Nick, at like a restaurant sharing a dessert. And he says he doesn't want a dessert. He wants a coffee, and yet he eats half of her dessert.
Wow.
What are your thoughts about this?
I mean, I feel like this is stereotypically a thing that women do.
Yes. You have a role
and,
reversal.
You know, and it also shows that he's selfish and he thinks he deserves everything in the world because he grew up with money. But also I am that person.
Okay, so they're there sharing a dessert. They have dated for over a year.
We have this information. Love that.
They gave it to us real quick.
And then all of these other people are spying on him. They like overhear that he's going to bring her to Singapore. I loved this scene. I was obsessed with this scene. I just will say right off the bat, I really like this movie.
Oh, it was a great movie.
It's great. It was like so great.
It's a good time the whole time.
It was very Gossip Girl, I felt like.
Yes, absolutely.
I loved that.
He tells her there that he's going to go to Singapore to visit his family, and he asks if she would come with him for a wedding.
To meet everyone, which meeting your partner's family at a wedding is stressful.
I mean, it depends on the partner and the family, but generally, yes.
Yeah, I feel like it's like maybe it's okay because like people are busy.
I think it could be nice for that reason. Like, it's not really about you.
Yeah.
Or it shouldn't be about you except for this whole film, but you get to just have an experience with them.
Yeah, and everyone's generally in a good mood, usually.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's a good point.
I met a partner's family that way.
I have also.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I think actually, like you said, it ended up being okay because people had like, it wasn't like, oh, we're sitting across from your parents at dinner and like, we just have to talk.
Yeah.
So maybe I take back actually everything I just said. And maybe it's a great way to meet your partner's family.
We got built-in activities. The pressure's off. Like,
you get to show that you're fun. You're like, I dance.
I can hang.
Yeah.
I can look cute.
Yes.
And that's cool. He's going to the wedding. He's bringing her with.
She talks to her mom about it. And I really liked this scene where she's like, his parents can't not like me. And her mom's like which I think is just her mom kind of knowing what she's about to walk into, but also I feel like
just
it was also a great mom moment of just like, okay, if you say so.
You think you're hot shit.
Yeah, you have a really good personality.
I loved that. It was so funny. It was so funny.
A lot of great mean mom moments in this movie, which, you know,
moms go hard in this one.
Moms are really momming in this movie.
Yes. Over in Singapore, we see his Eleanor already find out that he's coming with his girlfriend without her being told at all.
Yes.
His mom calls him literally a minute after he's had this conversation already, which is so funny. Here's what I don't understand. We see his mom in Singapore. She's around with all of her rich friends. They're all doing a Bible reading.
Yeah.
You have so much money. You can buy some more books. There are other books. There are other books besides the Bible.
I feel like the Bible thing though is like I feel like it's like, oh, we're good people because we read the Bible. Like it's like well, I thought that was more of like a Bible study, like not like a book. You know what I mean?
I understand that it's Bible study.
Well, why are you asking why they can buy are you saying they should buy a new Bible?
No, I'm saying they should read some different books. If I had that much money, I'm not reading the same book over and over again.
Listen, I agree with you, but I think what it is that it's their way to justify being horrible people.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's really just all it is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of bad people do that. They're like, but I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. You're probably right.
I mean, I agree. If I had a ton of money, I definitely would not be reading the Bible.
Yeah.
I don't do that and I have no money. So definitely not doing it if I did have money.
So this mom hates that he's bringing a girl.
Yes.
She's like already telling her son, like, the house isn't suitable for guests. I have the house ready for you.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We're off to a bad start.
Yep.
And he knows it. And he's not preparing his girlfriend for what she's walking into, which is annoying in general with his mom, I feel like he kind of dances around it. Like, oh,
Yes.
he's dancing around a lot with her because now we're on the plane going there. Or do you have more to say about Bible study and or this conversation?
I think it's, in theory, they're past college. They're in their 20s.
Yeah, I would imagine like late 20s, early 30s.
And
maybe.
you think your son's girlfriend's going to stay at a different hotel than you with your son at home?
I mean, realistically, it's a power
insane.
move.
It's just so crazy. I think it's weird that it's a year in and he hasn't told her anything about his family.
Yes. This is okay. They get to the airport and she's like surprised that they're going to be first class. I understand, like, immediately I get the thought process of him being like, I don't want somebody falling in love with me because of my money. Fine. But for her to be shocked at all, and I think also there's something about this where I'm like, I don't believe that you grew up with this much money and you aren't like a little bougie. And so you can be like, okay, fine, you go to the Y. You're stealing her Netflix password for some fucking reason.
Card, rewards card. Yeah.
I get that you might have those things, but I'm like, there's no way he has a shitty apartment.
Yeah. I don't get what we're supposed to think his job is.
Right.
They don't tell us his job.
It's working for his parents, maybe?
We don't know, because if so, I'm so sorry. I do not understand how she has not Googled this person.
Yes. This is the other, okay. And again, when she meets up with her college roommate, Aquafina, she also was like, oh my God, your boyfriend is that Nick? I'm like, nobody knows who, like.
You haven't said his last name to anyone?
Yeah, like we've never Googled this man.
I don't get it. Like, I think everyone I've gone on a date with, I've probably Googled.
Yeah, and this came out in...
This year that it's set in right now is 2018.
Yeah, it came out in 2018.
That's like, what, 1 or 2 years before the pandemic? People had Google.
No, we were Googling things. This isn't some like...
It's so crazy to me. She's a professor at NYU. She knows how to use a computer. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, it is insane.
I guess, okay, do they meet at school together? Is that the idea?
I don't know.
Because if I met at school together, sure, I'm not going to Google like another student, maybe?
If you're dating them, why wouldn't you Google them?
Maybe like...
They've only been together for a year.
Yeah.
And she's a professor. They met
They don't
as
tell
adults.
us how they met.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're Googling that person.
Yes. I don't know why she doesn't know this, but she doesn't. And he has not filled her in
I think
all.
it's so... I get that he's like, I don't want her to fall in love with me for the money, blah, blah, blah. But there's something icky about the idea of testing her. And if you're going to suddenly throw her in the deep end, just tell her at least that she's in the deep end. He still hasn't told her how deep she is falling in there.
No, he really...
It's so unfair.
And I don't know that he's doing it intentionally.
I feel like maybe there's like an unawareness.
Yeah, I think he's kind of a dummy.
Yeah.
And he's very influenced by his mom.
Yeah. It just feels like, yeah, I don't know how much is on purpose, but it feels like, let's like throw you to the wolves and see if you can hang. And I don't know that he means to do that or not, but like, I don't know. It feels so careless and almost cruel.
Yeah, I think it's pretty messed up to not be like, we're like the wealthiest family in not even Singapore, just like it seems like they're like in the world.
Yeah.
Or like very high up there.
I also like a year and she says she doesn't know much about his family.
Yeah.
Why isn't she asking more questions? I'm so sorry. A year?
And you haven't been like...
How did you become the person you are? Like, I'm asking so many questions.
Yeah.
It's crazy that she has just been like, oh, he's kind of quiet about his family. What? I guess in her defense, maybe she only has her mother. And so to her, maybe family is like an interesting or like touchy topic. And she's fuck that. Ask questions.
No, you got to ask questions. And And you should also tell people at some point this needs to be revealed.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that he doesn't have a nice apartment. There's no way he's living somewhere shitty. And if you go to somebody's like place, you can tell if they have money or not.
Yeah. I don't have money, but if anyone's coming to meet my family, I'm telling them what they're in for.
Yeah.
I'm telling them exactly what to expect.
Absolutely.
I'm telling them who's going to be weird, which ways. I'm telling them what they can say to be on the people's good side. Like, I am laying it out because
You're
you want this
setting them
person to be
up
successful.
for success.
Because you
Yes.
love them. And what the hell's he doing?
Not setting her up for success
My
at all.
God.
He really just lets her go into it blind.
It's
like
it
her
pisses me
first
off.
interaction with his mom is so awkward, and it's just like he could have set her up so much better.
Yep.
But he doesn't.
Yep. All right.
Now they're on a plane. They're in first class. I don't know. The plane had a real bed, and I want that. A lot of this, I was like, I just want to be a bratty rich kid.
Yep. Yep. I want to fly, sleep in. Is it implied that they're banging in the plane? I feel like they get like a real heavy make out, and then they like cut scenes on the plane.
Oh, they might.
Yeah.
Might as well. If you've got a bed on a plane, they're basically asking for it.
It's true. They are. Come on. Yeah. One more clue that she has no idea, and he's really like done this ruse is like, she gets onto the plane and she says, "We can't afford this."
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you know about his finances?
Right. Well, then there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And there's no way, it's very weird that she's this oblivious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I blame him. And why are you asking more questions?
Yeah, she
I'm
should be
so
asking more questions.
confused.
But okay, this brings me then to my next note that I took, which is now we're at Awkwafina's family's house.
Yeah.
Okay. We go there and she's also like, "Oh my God, your house is so big." And I was like, "Are you just like completely oblivious to rich people existing? Like, did you not know that your college roommate's family was loaded?"
Yeah, because the only way she describes him to her boyfriend is like that she's like weird or wacky or something. Yeah.
Which, I mean, and they're good friends.
Yeah.
But I'm like, she seems surprised by how nice her house is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you just don't, like, I think, do you just not just totally oblivious to people having money?
I guess so.
Because I'm also like, there's no way that Awkwafina's character,
I don't know if we're supposed to think that she has changed since college.
I don't think she's changed. I think that she's always been this way. She's
That's
like a
what I think
kooky
too.
lady
Yes.
who comes from new money.
Yes.
And she's having a great time. And there's no way that she wasn't that person in college.
Yeah.
So, and she was great. And her family was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So, creepy brother.
Creepy brother, funny father.
Yeah.
It's a good time all around.
Yes.
I want to apologize to you because I showed cockroaches on this film.
Oh, the crab.
crabs, yeah.
I knew you were going to bring that up. And you know what? Listen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do feel that way. And these ones did not piss me off as much as
Why?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I don't know. There's something about the way they were eating them, and there's something about watching people. I can accept, like, I get what it is, but there's something about like watching people suck it out, like really up close. I was like, I don't like this. I don't need to watch whatever the fuck. Also, I don't know. This one bothered me less.
Okay, that's good. They have this other like B plot line about our main man's cousin, Astrid.
Yes. She meets his entire family, and it might be at a
It's
rehearsal
a big
dinner of sorts.
It's a big dinner. Oh, wait. Pause. This was at her friend's house. The father said he majored in thought.
Yes.
What?
I
Is this a thing?
I don't know if he was just fucking with her. I feel like he was fucking with her the whole time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was a thing. He's also like, eat some food. Don't be shy. You're not a model.
Yeah, he said, "You're not a model." And then he said, "A lot of children are starving in America."
Yes.
And then he says to his like twin daughters, like, "She's skinny. Do you want to look like that?" And they're like, "No." And she's like the most beautiful lady, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. Yes, and that's where, like you said, she finds out that her guy is crazy rich.
Yes. Now she finds this out. She's meeting the entire family, and his cousin brings some food to her husband, who, well, we're seeing her whole like life or whatever, and we find out her husband also does not come from money.
Yes. Astrid is the name of Nick, the lover boy's cousin. And Astrid's husband is also like a commoner, did stuff in the army or something. And like Astrid hides her shopping from him. Astrid's loaded also. Yes. And like is a fashion icon, thought person, whatever.
I was confused by the hiding, which is later, I guess, explained that she doesn't want him to feel insecure. But like,
I thought that was clear. Well, I thought first, I'm like, why is she like ashamed? Like doesn't want him to find out?
That's what I thought. And I was like, but you make so much money. Why would it matter?
Yeah. And then later I felt like he's like, you don't have to hide like your shopping from me, you know? And I'm like, why? What about the relationship? Feels like he has to do this. I don't know.
There's like a weird power dynamic. Anyway, she's at this party. She gets him food. He gets up to leave, leaves his phone behind.
Which is crazy if you are cheating.
If you are cheating.
You're not leaving your phone anywhere when you're cheating.
Everything about this. Okay, he leaves his phone behind. She picks it up. The bed feels empty without you is the text on the screen. Awful. Two things. Why are you leaving your phone behind?
Yes.
If you are cheating, you take that shit with you.
Yes.
Second, why is your mistress texting you when she knows you're with your wife? That's Mistress 101. You don't text while he's with the other, unless they both don't know about each other, which could be a thing.
Maybe the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, it seems like you wanted to get found out.
Totally. And I think a lot of people do when they get caught.
Yeah.
Like it feels like people get sloppy.
Yeah.
And it's like on purpose. A little bit subconsciously.
So they don't have to like actually say to the person what's happening. Yeah.
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 So that's awful.
Yes.
But we're meeting the whole family, all of the characters, lots of cousins.
Cousin after cousin, we get Ronnie Chang. He's great.
Yeah. Ronnie Chang is great. Who else do we have in there?
Astrid, the kind cousin, even says to Nick, have you prepared Rachel for the wolves?
Yes.
And I don't get why Nick can't be like, this is going to be tough. Anyway, yes.
Yeah. Jimmy Yang playing a douchebag. Great job.
So fun.
You know, we've got a lot of great characters. So we're meeting all of them. Yeah. We meet the grandma. And then she gets invited.
This was a banger cast.
Yeah. The cast was amazing.
Incredible.
It was really good. And then she gets invited to the bachelorette party, which I think is, I don't know, I guess like a nice gesture, although it doesn't end up being that way. But I feel like if I got invited to the bachelorette party of somebody that I didn't know and I didn't know anybody else on it, that sounds miserable. She
had one night with the bachelorettes beforehand. It was just the four of them. It's like Nick's best friend's guy getting married or whatever. And I could see like her feeling close and comfortable. And it seemed like the bachelorette made her feel comfortable at times during the bachelorette party too. Amonte, I think her name is. Like it felt like she'd like grab her hand and make her feel good. So yeah, I agree. It's a scary situation to be in. But I think it's so like sweet if it's your husband to be's best friend's person.
Yes.
Yeah, but I agree. It sounds scary.
It sounds very scary. So she gets invited to that. And then we're going to the bachelorette party.
Yep.
And the bachelor party
is nuts.
It's Jimmy Yang's character.
Yes.
Bernard. Yes. He planned it. And it's in international waters. Love that.
Yes.
And it's on a boat. And I wanted to know who all these people were on this boat who were invited to this bachelor party.
Well, some of them were like Miss World competitors.
Yes.
There was like Miss Netherlands, Miss whatever. The line I loved from Jimmy what we're gonna do hookers, drugs, dog fighting. That's minor league stuff for a bachelor party.
I just like, and then we go to the bachelorette party and it starts with a shopping spree and a spa.
I don't know why they're making shopping scarier than it is by making it timed and crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I find shopping so stressful.
Like, essentially what you're doing is you're giving them goodie bag gifts. Why don't you just like present the clothes to each of them? What? I don't know. It was so crazy to say like a timed shopping spree and everyone was like screaming and running.
Yeah,
and
maybe because it was like so much money, but like you have so much money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It felt like, what is the game show?
it's like the one at the grocery store
Yeah.
or the one at places where you have to like get a lot of stuff in a bag. I don't remember what it's called. Shopping Miss Shopper Guy.
Well, there's the one that's like currently being hosted by Leslie Jones, Grocery Wars. Something like that.
Yes.
Shopping Wars. But that one's more of like a game show. But then there was another one where I feel like you just like had to grab as much as you could in a time and then you got to keep that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And this felt like that, which to me seemed wacky
They're
at
like,
a bachelorette
we have to
party.
make it like crazy and fun, like a game, because we can shop regularly all the time.
And we want it to be different and scarier.
And we could have strippers and drugs, but instead we have crazy shopping.
And then massage
And a
line.
massage. Yeah, this bachelorette party, not what I would do if I had all the money in the world.
Oh, yes. So my question comes, what would you do if you had all the money in the world?
I would do that boat thing.
Yeah, you do the
That
boat
looked
thing
great.
for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't want like a ton of strangers. That's what I hated
No,
about it.
the strangers
It's filled with
weren't
strangers.
good.
It seemed like the five only knew each other, and then they hired a bunch of strangers.
No, I was confused by that part. I wouldn't do that, but I would do like very big boat party.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Private cruise thing. Great.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Get a yacht.
Yes.
International waters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get
That's a
fucking
good
weird.
time.
Totally. It would not be shopping spree, or it would be like chill week. I don't know. I don't think I would have a chill weekend if I don't see that for my
Yeah.
bachelorette.
It'd be a rager.
I could see like if it was the island situation, great, but it would still be like we'd be partying.
Yes.
Not just like, but they do party at night. Okay. Now I want to talk about, okay, we do eventually get a party. She doesn't participate in it, Rachel, because the massages happen.
Yes.
And then she goes back to her room where someone has left
Well, she goes there because this woman
Oh.
who she thought was her friend or like was becoming her friend, was getting buddy with her, reveals that she's actually Nick's ex.
Yes, which is so fucked up of him also.
To not tell her.
He doesn't tell her, oh, you're going on this bachelorette party with my ex. You have to communicate these things with her. You need to set her up for success.
Has she not asked about any of his exes? I bet she hasn't.
No,
If she's
she
not asked about his
definitely
family.
hasn't Instagram stalked them, because if I was at that bachelorette party, I would recognize my partner's ex right away. I've got that face seared into my memory.
Some people do know ex talk, like in their relationships.
That's insane.
Couldn't understand that.
No.
I want to know everything about everyone. I
wanna
want to
know
see them.
everything.
And I want to see how they're doing now.
Honestly, I'd like to talk with them.
I have.
I'd like to sit down and interview them.
And it's interesting. It really, really is. Yeah.
I want to talk about people's exes. And honestly, I would be super offended if my past partners, current people, aren't asking about me. Like, ask about me, please.
Yeah, for sure.
Please.
Yeah, know who I am. I think one ex's current partner at the time, I think it's when I had done my first 30 dates in 30 days. Mm-hmm. And she had told my ex that I seem manic.
I mean, you do.
Not wrong.
Wow, she's an observant lady.
She's an observant lady. Yeah.
We love that.
We love that.
You're
Yeah.
like, wow. I wonder all the time what my ex's current partners think about me.
Like what they hear about you?
Yeah. And just like what they think about me when they hopefully stalked me on social media, which I have graciously left public.
Anyone can look at anything.
For them.
Yes.
And honestly,
it's a
rude
gift.
When people
don't do the same.
Don't do the same, especially if you start dating someone new. Like, I'm sorry, you need that public for a minute. Let me do my stalking.
Yes. Let us explore. Be generous.
Yeah, and then you can whatever go private.
Give us like a few months, and then you can go quiet.
Some time. It's really unfair.
I agree.
And we are honestly really nice people.
We are kind. And we want to know. We're just kind people who want to know stuff. And there's a lot of us out there.
Truly insane when people don't want to know. And I feel like I'm just like curious. It's not even like a jealousy thing. I'm just like, I just like want to know what you're up to. I want to know who your exes are. And I don't know.
Well, to me, it's like it's so similar to the family thing.
Yes.
Like the family, you want to know who shaped you. And then you're in a relationship. So I want to know like what shaped who you are, what you're bringing to relationships now. Why wouldn't I want to know that?
What baggage do you have?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How have you dealt with certain things in the past with other girls?
What
have you learned?
How people talk about their exes says so much about them as well. Because if there can be a lot of red flags there.
Yes, absolutely.
And I would hope that somebody, especially at a certain age, has like an ex they can say positive things about.
Yes. Yes.
You're like, do I have one?
Yeah, I got some.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be all of them.
Yeah, no, it's
like,
not.
You're like, okay, good. You've been in like a
nice, healthy relationship.
Yeah, like you know what that should look like.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's crazy she doesn't know what this woman looks like. And also I hope that
And I blame him for it. I blame him for it as well. I blame her for not asking. I blame him for not telling her.
Yes. Now there's a fish on her bed.
My God. So everyone in fucking Singapore, I guess,
hates her. For marrying the king.
For dating. God forbid. And so these women
the heir to Singapore.
They cut a fish open, put its guts on her bed, and then write with blood on the walls.
Yes.
Like you gold digger, whatever.
Like you're something about her being a gold digger. That was insane and horrible. But then I just want to say, all right.
Yes.
The woman who walks in, the cousin is Astrid, right?
Yeah.
Astrid walks in and she's like, oh, we'll like call someone to come clean it up. And she's like, no, I don't want to cause a scene. I'll take care of myself. So she carries this fucking fish out to the beach to bury it in the sand.
In the sand?
Meanwhile, the bachelorette party is happening 20 feet away. And I'm like, if I was the person who put that fish on someone's bed and I'm watching them carry it out of the building, walking it to the sand, digging a hole with your hands and bury it, I'd be like, I won.
Yes.
I'd be like, you look stupid.
Yes. I'm like, I assume this is a private resort. There are plenty of people working there. You don't have to make a scene by calling someone and be like, hey, can you clean up this room?
Right. Or if you must bury it yourself, don't go there. Go to the other side of the island. Go literally, you don't go where people can see you digging in the sand like a fucking monster. Everyone's judging you.
There are trash bins. I'm sure there are trash bins.
Throw it out the window. Put it on someone else's bed.
Throw it in the ocean. I don't fucking. It's right there.
I was. Do you bury fish in the sand?
And she wrapped it in like cloth or something.
She really gave this fish like a nice little funeral. And everybody at that bachelorette party was watching this happen and was like, she's
dancing
fucking
nearby,
crazy.
But they're like, whoa, she loved that fish. And okay, I'm upset again at Nick.
Yes.
Because if he's going to play this little trick on her where she doesn't know about his whole life for a year, he better at least tell everyone there in Singapore, like, by the way, I played this trick on her. Seriously, she's not a gold digger. She had no idea.
She had no idea. I never told her. He needs to just be a better person all around. But he's a spoiled rich kid, and you don't have to take responsibility for your actions when you're a spoiled rich kid.
Yeah.
But I also and I feel like he's trying to play it off like he's like, oh no, I'm not like that. I'm down to earth. I'm like, no, you're not.
It's strange. Okay, he says to her, "You're so different from the women I grew up with." We know why.
Because he's like, you're a poor.
I feel like the most generous take is that you didn't grow up, that you grew up American. I feel like that's kind of like his mother wants us to like differentiate that, but it really seems like the money thing.
Definitely the money thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, then he like reveals to his friend that he has a ring for her. That happens. Then they finally meet up again. And I feel like the conversation that they are having, she's like telling him everything that went down at this bachelorette party. And he's just like, I made a mistake. He's like, I made a mistake.
So pissed off for her.
The fact that, a dead fish was put in my partner's bed, you would be
Can you
furious. Like, you should be so mad. And he's just like, oh my God. Oh, wow.
I would be so angry at the people in my life for doing that to my partner.
That's fucking crazy that you did that.
Kidding? It was so disappointing.
Yeah, he was so, and she's like, why didn't you tell me that? Like, and he's just like, I made a mistake. Like, he was so just like flippant about the entire thing and dismissive. That was crazy.
It's so unfair.
Yeah.
And I honestly commend her for not feeling crazier than she felt. I would feel insane if no one's reacting to the level I'm reacting of this crazy thing.
It's insane.
It's very like what, Godfather with the horse head? Like, it's fucking nuts.
It's a really gross thing to do.
Yes.
And then I feel like at this point, I've already said this, but yeah, I really feel like he thinks that he's like a good guy. He thinks that he's better and he thinks he's a good guy. And like, maybe he's not, the same as some of his cousins, but like
it just seems so careless.
Yeah.
But of course he does, because his mom's obsessed with him. His grandma's obsessed with him. Mm-hmm. Everyone's obsessed with him.
He's an only child, maybe. Probably.
Yeah, I think probably.
Yeah. He needs to stand up to his mom, but I do love how awful she is because now she's back in the picture.
They're all like making dumplings because he loves dumplings.
Yes, they're doing the dumpling thing, and she just is shitting on her the whole time.
It's crazy. She's talking about
he doesn't stand up. If my mom was shitting on my partner right to their face, right in that moment, you're like, what are you doing?
It's so crazy.
Yeah. And you're intending on proposing to her?
Yeah.
So men who are this obsessed with their moms,
it's disgusting.
It's really a problem.
It's disgusting.
I feel like when people are like, oh, I want a man who has a good relationship with their mom, I'm like, I don't. Like, to some extent, yes. But I feel like when people say that, they mean a dude who like took it way too far, and it's like weird boy mom energy, and it's like incestuous and gross.
So I used to date a guy, maybe a couple guys, but at least one whose mom would send him like flowers or chocolate on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I would be a little weirded out by that.
It's a little odd, huh?
Did he have sisters?
No.
Okay.
Because I would want to.
Did they all get it?
I hope they all got it. Otherwise, it's very weird to give only your oldest son.
Yeah, I would have follow-up questions. I was like, if it goes to every child, fine. And especially if there's daughters in the mix.
And it goes to the daughters,
and they get the daughters as well. And I'd be like, okay, you do a cute little thing. I feel like, sending your kids a little Valentine's Day, being like, I love you, that's very sweet. But
it's a nice reminder.
It could be
disgusting.
Weird.
Yeah.
And a lot of moms have weird relationships with their sons.
Yes.
And isn't it so weird when you see like people starting to do that? I feel like I know a lot of people who have become boy moms, and like watching the transformation into that, I'm just like, oh, what is, and it's not every mom with a son. It's not.
There are plenty of women who have sons who aren't weird about it.
Yes.
But there's some whose identity is like, I'm the mother of a boy.
Yes. And that is so fucking weird. And your son is going to grow up to be a monster.
Yes.
You are doing all of his future partners a disservice.
Yes.
And I think that they know they're doing that because they're like,
he's mine.
He's mine.
I used to do a joke, and it always upset the audiences about about like meeting the parents and how meeting dads are so chill because they're just like, hey, you're fucking my son. We high five. It's great. But then you meet a mom, and a mom is like, he was inside me first.
I can see why audiences wouldn't like that, but I think you should bring that joke back. I think
agree.
it's great.
I thank you. Yeah.
Moms are fucking weird about it sometimes.
They are weird. They're little baby boys.
Yes, I don't like that either. I'm like, this is a grown fucking man, and also you didn't teach him enough.
No.
Sometimes I'm like, what did you teach this man? Because he's kind of worthless.
I feel like these moms like also usually like hate their husbands. And it's like, do you know that this kid is half him? Do you know that?
She's like, no, he's better.
He's
I'm
different.
like, no, he's actually worse.
He's probably worse. You're probably making him worse.
Yeah. Mama's boys are a problem.
It's
boy
icky.
moms are, it's really fucking creepy.
Well, when like women are like, I'm a boy mom, it feels like just like it's in the same ballpark as like I'm a guy's girl.
Yeah. And it also, I'm like, I feel like people aren't like, oh, I'm a girl's mom.
No.
I'm a girl mom. There is girl dad energy, which can also be very creepy. But that's a different thing, not what we're talking about.
We see almost no dads in this film. It's great.
No.
It's
Love.
relate to my life so much.
Not a single dad in the picture. Just this like hot, mean mom who I, and now.
And they keep showing us this huge, taxidermy tiger, and I couldn't tell if that was supposed to be like a metaphor for like tiger moms or whatever.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she is mean to her during this dumpling situation, and then
well, I just want to say in Eleanor's defense, like, Eleanor's mother-in-law
mean to her.
was mean to her. And you think and Eleanor explains this to our main girl, Rachel. And you're like, oh, this is where the whole film's going to turn around.
Yeah.
She's going to see like, oh, I did that's not nice, blah, blah, blah. And Eleanor fucking doubles down.
She goes, you will never be good
enough.
Yes. Oof. You will never be enough.
Damn.
It was incredible acting, just like horrible, heartbreaking.
My God. What drives you to say that to a stranger you just met?
I loved this scene so much, and she like pushes her down a step on the stairs. Like she approaches her, so she has to be in the position of power, towering over her. God, it was such a good scene. I loved it.
Amazing.
It was so mean. And I feel like if I were in that position as Rachel, I'd be like, I'll just kill myself, I guess. I'll just die. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll just fuck right off.
I can't imagine someone being crueler to me than I am in my head. It's crazy how cruel this for what?
Yeah.
Just to get her out of the picture? It's crazy.
And then so then she's getting food or meeting up with Awkwafina, and she tells her, she's like, you should ask her for $1 million to leave him. And I was like, that's honestly pretty good advice.
And then Awkwafina's like, I bet you could get $10 million.
Yeah. I was like, do that.
We did find out something interesting, I think, which is that he got raised, our main boy Nick got raised by his grandmother instead of his mother.
Yes.
So his mother, who fucking loves him so much, didn't raise him.
Yeah.
She sent him to the grandma's because she wanted to make sure he got an inheritance.
Oh.
So she, in theory, like I guess has been going by her whole code, which is that like you have to sacrifice for the family by being like, I'm not even going to get to be with this son because I want his family to have money. But it's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like this is the downside of being super rich, is that it is just like kings and queens and shit like this, and there are like weird you do have restrictions on you because you have to keep the money.
Yes. It feels like she also did not tell her boyfriend the mean thing that his mom said to her.
At that point, no, I would be immediately, but he was so dismissive before, like he didn't fucking care that a fish was put on our bed. So he's definitely not going to care that his mom said this.
Like, have you ever had like moms treat you badly of people that you've met?
No, I don't think I've ever, I'm trying to think if I feel like everyone I've dated's mom has liked me. As far as I know.
As far as we know. Or they've been smart enough to not. Because my mom's pretty smart. My mom knows to like give me no clue if she dislikes someone.
Yeah.
Because then she knows she might not see me as much, you know?
Yes.
But I had one who I was sure his mom hated me. It was my first time meeting her. I think my hair was like blonder back then. And she was like, oh, you dye your hair. And I was like, this woman fucking hates me.
Yeah.
And then we got back home, him and I'm like, I think your mom hates me. He's like, that was a success. He's like, that was really
so she
good.
was major boy mom energy.
She's an intense woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's intense.
That would be very scary. I have dated people who I felt like their dad didn't like me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. You feel like you're, I know. It goes against.
Dads are so easy.
I feel like I definitely dated someone whose dad, and maybe his dad just like didn't like, I don't know. His dad was very like that strong, kind of silent type dad that like, I just don't know what the fuck to do with that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I also feel like I come off as kind of like, although his mom was like super fun and wacky too. So I was like, I feel like I'm like giving the same energy.
Yeah.
Like, are you surprised?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he like didn't know what to do with me either.
That's so funny.
And we just like, I don't know if he disliked me, but like the vibe was not great. I remember one time we were all like sitting in the living room and like the dude I was dating, his mom got up to like go get something. Mm-hmm. And so it was me and the dad left alone in the living room, and we sit there in silence for like a solid like too long.
No.
And I was sitting there being like, should I say something? Like, what do I say? And like right when I finally thought of something to say to him and was about to open my mouth, he goes and just gets up and leaves the room without saying anything to me. And I was just like,
oh my God.
I was like,
I would die.
And I was like, maybe I should have said something, but like, I didn't know what to say to him. And it was so scary.
Wow. That's rough.
Yeah.
It's so rough. It's so crazy being the adults in the situation and not deciding to make the environment normal for this
just be like,
young girl.
So, like, what? How's work?
How's it been going? How's this thing?
Make up some dumb,
Tell me a story about your son. Do anything.
Conversation.
That is crazy to me. That's
just say
crazy.
nothing and then just get up and leave. I was like, oh my God. So I don't think he liked me very much.
Wow. None of the fathers have been like that.
Yeah.
I've always been lucky enough for like generally like goof dads who are just so excited for someone to pay attention to them, you know, goofing and making their dumbass jokes. And they're all like, oh,
they're like,
great.
oh my God, you haven't heard all of my stories yet.
For sure. Did I ever tell you about, so you know the guy who's weird about his cat?
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about his dad?
No, maybe.
I was visiting him in New York. He's in New York, and I met his parents, and I think his dad really liked me. Whatever, it was fine. Afterwards, I get an email through my website. My website has like a contact email form. He emails me from there, but he doesn't say his name. He says like how great I am and like what a great comic and how much he likes me and can't wait to see me again.
Oh, yes.
He does not mention the name of the guy I'm dating at the time, that it's his son. No reference to him, as if he and I just met each other in New York for fun. It was crazy.
I do remember that.
That was so
weird. And then I feel like you told him about it and he acted like it was normal.
That was the weirdest part.
Yeah.
I sent him a screenshot. I'm like, hey, is this your dad? And he's just like, yeah, it's one of his email addresses. Nothing. My therapist was so happy when we broke up. She was like, that is. I also remember telling my therapist about the email, and I'm like, yeah, dads love me. And she's like, yeah, except your own. And then she felt so bad. She felt so bad. I'm like, no, this is good.
I'm glad that we're all in agreement that it is Natasha's fault that he left.
Me. Okay, sorry. I got us really. Okay, the $1 million pitch, game theory, bok bitch. That's where we are.
Yes. Now she needs to show her, get her to respect her.
Yeah, that's what her friend at Aquafina says. Like, you got to get her to respect. She doesn't have to like you. She's got to respect you.
And I do kind of agree with that in this situation with this mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. Now we're with we're about to go to...
Do we get the glow up scene? Do we get the makeover?
Oh, yeah. Now we got a makeover because we're going to go to this wedding.
Yeah.
Love a makeover scene.
We love. It's so fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
It should be in every film, whether or not it's warranted. I always want to watch. Oh, I'm trying funny outfits. We're all reacting
We're
to
all
it.
I want when I get ready for that to happen, except I would probably get super awkward about it and then be like, never mind, I'll never wear clothes again.
My mistake. It's so fun because it is even like it's the best part of going out. Like when you're going out with your girls or whatever, the best part's music, home, getting ready. Mm-hmm. Why does nothing beat that?
Because the night hasn't been ruined by being out yet.
You haven't been confronted with reality.
Yeah. You haven't gotten too fucked up and ruined everything yet.
You haven't had weird guys saying weird stuff to you yet. Just a bunch of girls.
You're just a bunch of girls. And you're like, the night is young. Like, we're going to have the best night ever. And then you go out in public and you remember everything's terrible.
People are bad and they're out there. It's so funny. It's so funny. I think I like those scenes because that's what they feel like too for me. Anyway.
So they have the makeover scene. Then we're with Astrid and her husband in their car going to the wedding. And she finds out that he is
she knows he's
missing.
Cheating.
She knows he's cheating. She has not brought it up. We find out that he's going to miss his son's birthday to presumably see his mistress. And
did he love the moment where she rolls up the divider?
Yeah.
Between her eyes,
that is
her driver.
We need to talk text. It's happening
so funny
in real life
in a car rolling up the divider.
Which funny. Is great to have that. Have you ever been in a fight with somebody in the back of a Lyft or an Uber? Because
probably.
I certainly have. Sometimes I think back on those and I'm just like,
have you ever done it publicly? I feel like it's always very quiet until we leave, and then where I'm like, okay, here's what I have to say. Yeah. Waymos will change that. We'll be able to fight publicly with people in the car.
In a Waymo.
Yep. And no one's talking about it. And that's one of the bennies.
And that's the best part of a Waymo is you can get in a drunken fight with your partner back there, and there's not somebody in the front seat judging you.
You're living the life.
Yeah. It's good.
That's what we all wanted for us.
That's what we need for the future. Not all of us are rich with dividers, okay?
No, we don't have dividers to roll up.
We just get in fights with our partners in front of people just trying to do their job.
Yep. Okay.
I'm sure.
Rolls up the divider. Kid leaving for his son's birthday.
Okay. So now she's confronting him about it.
My God. And this guy's he's so unfair.
He's so unfair. Ugh. I will say, I kind of agreed with the first point he made where he was like, the first reaction she has is let's just get through this wedding and not cause a scene. And he's like, I can't believe that was your first reaction to finding out that I'm having an affair. And I do kind of get feeling that way.
I'm on her side.
I'm not saying that I'm not on her side here, but I am saying for me, I would be like, why are you not yelling at me? Why are you not freaking out? Why are you not? I would be like, I need you to be angry. And the fact that you're not, that would make me feel like, oh, you don't care about me.
The thing is, she's found out. We don't know. He doesn't know how long she's known about it.
Right.
And he's going to be like a drama little baby man and be ruin everyone's life because I ruined ours.
Yes.
I agree with you that I'd be hurt that the person wasn't reacting, but
he is in the wrong,
react in their
obviously.
own ways, you know?
And he knows who he married. But also, I agree that he is in the wrong. I am not on his side. Feeling
Why
second
are you
best.
So on his side.
I'm on his side. Just to be clear, Astrid.
Fuck off. Okay, get it.
No, but I do feel like just looking at every person's side of this situation.
What a Libra. You're such a Libra.
I know I am such a, I really am being such a Libra right now. And it is who I am. And it's really terrible.
And I'm a Scorpio. I'm like, that's fucking unforgivable.
Yes. And I'm
Burn
like,
it down.
I agree with you and I see your side of it, but let's see how maybe he was feeling. And I'm not on his side. I don't think he did a good thing.
I'd be reacting exactly like her, where I'm like, I'm not going to everyone things because of your fucking
Thank
shit.
God we're not dating.
I know. It'd be a nightmare. It really would.
I would be like, we need to fight right now. But I get in fights in the backs of Lyfts and Ubers. So,
And I wait until we're alone.
You hold it together.
And even then, you're not going to get much from me.
We're getting in public. Wherever I'm feeling mad.
I love that shit. I love friends like that. I have so many friends like that because it's like, you're like, hell yeah. You know?
You're like, fuck that, man. Why
I get to live like vicariously through you. I'm like, wow, I wish I could do that.
Yeah. So I think feeling second best to your partner does suck. And you should, as much as that sucks, you knew that you were marrying into this family.
Yeah.
And I also did kind of like this relationship dynamic because it is, not to say that Rachel is going to end up in this situation and that she's going to cheat, but like it is showing what her situation is going to be. And
it's
she
a
is
reflection of a maybe
always
future.
going to have to be second best to him. She is always going to have to be living up to, you know, whatever, and not causing a scene and being perfect and being available. Like she is going to have to do that. And like, do you want to do that?
You're like a cog for the family machine, essentially, you know?
And that feels shitty. So like, I feel for him in that sense.
Yeah.
But he also chose to marry into the family. And you know, don't cheat on people, leave your partner, all of that, etc.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I think he's a piece of shit.
I
think he knew what he got into and he should have fucking dealt with it.
Yes. The next thing I'm going to say though,
Yes?
now we're at the wedding.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump ahead to the wedding.
Yeah.
And the thing that I loved about this with Rachel walking in and she walks up to Eleanor looking hot, looking great. The makeover worked. And Eleanor is there. And I loved the costuming decision of them wearing the same color.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It was like, we are on equal footing, or we're trying to be on equal footing.
Yeah.
Eleanor's not accepting it, but I liked it.
I love that they're wearing the same color. It feels like Eleanor would hate any woman that her son is dating and bringing because of her own idea of being replaced, you know? And I think the color thing is like also like it pushes that idea along too, you know?
That's a good point.
Ugh.
The wedding is very pretty, but then the bride and the bridesmaids walk through water.
What the hell was that?
Which I was like, this is very cool.
It was gorgeous seeing the water come down the aisle.
Beautiful. And I could see doing that, but then I would have a short dress.
And I wouldn't make my bridesmaids wade through it with their dresses and be wet and cold.
They probably have second dresses to change into.
I'm sure they do, but there's a whole ceremony where you're standing there in your wet dress.
In your wet dress.
That can be good for photos. But yes.
Yep. Very pretty wedding.
Very pretty wedding.
Confused by the wet dress.
And they're all expecting, including Nick, that like Rachel will have like be in the corner, be in the back, you know, because of the behavior of the mom and everything. And our girl's in the front row talking up this princess who bought out the whole front row because she's just like a cool girl who can talk to people. And I love it.
Yes. It's a great moment.
She's a fighter.
She is a fighter.
And he sees that and he likes that. And that also irritates me because she shouldn't have had to be, you know, like
he should be fighting for her at this point.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that could be an obvious reflection of what the rest of your life is with this guy and this family. Like okay, yes, go ahead.
Then we get to the point where we find out mom hired a private investigator to look into her past. And we find out that her dad actually probably is alive.
Rachel believed that her father died when she was young because that's what her mom told her. And everybody lies.
Yes. Everybody lies. This is important.
Don't
that's
forget,
the
everyone.
lesson of this movie.
That's a lesson of all movies.
But yeah, so we find out her mom cheated on her husband with this other man,
And that's
had
how
the
Rachel
baby,
came to be.
and moved to America on her own. So we
And
find that out. Mom's all pissed off about it.
And poor Rachel finds out
At this wedding.
She
Terrible.
finds out from this mean mom, Eleanor, like revealing it to everyone, like a
Yeah.
big gotcha. How awful to find out that way.
And then she leaves and goes to Aquafina's. And I feel like this dude has not done enough to try to fight for her. Very annoying, very passive man the entire time.
So I agree with that, but there's some things he said that maybe implied to me. Like he said he called her and left a voicemail, and he said he's going to stop by again tonight.
So
which
he
I'm
is
like, should we think that he's
stopping
been
by.
stopping by it? But I agree. I want some more aggressive, you know?
Yeah, like
but then
you
it turns
really
out
fucked
he calls
up.
her mom. He calls her mom to have his mom go
Yeah.
visit her, which is sweet.
Oh, I did not realize that he was the one who did that.
He was the one who did it.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
very sweet. Okay. All right.
But I agree, I was getting upset too. I wrote in my notes, what, are you going to leave because mom's a bitch? You got to stay to spite her. At that point, you want to stay to spite Eleanor, you know? But I agree that
Yeah.
it's all pretty sad.
Her mom's there. They're having a sweet conversation. And then Aquafina's creep brother comes in, films it.
Or
And
takes a photo. He's been taking photos.
He's been taking photos of this, and then everyone just sort of laughs about it. Like immediately, I'm like, this kid's a creep.
Weird
and
kid.
I don't know about
Weird
him.
kid.
So there's that, and then
She finally meets up with him, and he proposes and says he'll go to
and
New
I
York
was
with
like,
her.
You're proposing literally after all of this. I don't know. I would be so annoyed.
You don't want a reactionary proposal.
No, I'm like, I don't want to be proposed to. Yeah, because what, I haven't spoken to you in days?
Oh, because you're so upset. I mean,
Like,
it is.
what?
He did buy the ring before. He did have a plan. It's not like he. But like, I would hate
also,
that.
at the beginning of the movie, her mom is like, oh, like going overseas, like, is it wedding bells? And she's like, we haven't even talked about that. And maybe she's just saying that to like appease her mom or like
I
not do
believe
it.
that. She hasn't asked about his family. She hasn't asked about his exes.
They haven't talked about this, and you're buying a ring, sir. And then like, worst proposal ever. Don't propose when you're in a fight.
When you're in a fight, it's so
You need to plan
awful.
a special thing.
Yes.
Stupid.
Yes.
So whatever. He proposes. She turns it down.
My mom got proposed to in a fight.
That sounds right.
Yep. And
Really.
it didn't work out. Shocker.
Yeah, because they had this one.
It's my fault. It's me. It could have been perfect. I think the fight was like her being upset about like cleaning up after him, and she's like, blah, 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 blah. And we're not even married. And he's like, oh, do you want to get married? And it's like, what a manipulative asshole. Clearly trying to get out of a
my
fight.
God.
But I know. But it's my fault they're divorced. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So she invites Eleanor to mahjong.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Unless there's something you want to say before
Nope,
then.
that's it. And they play this game. She wins. And the mom, I guess, respects her for that, kind of. But I'm like, you didn't really win her respect.
No, but obviously what she has said moves her in some way. What does she say? She says, I'm not leaving because I'm scared. She knows she's enough. She says, I don't want him to lose his mom again. And I was like,
yeah, I
oof.
did like her being like, he proposed to me and said he would move to New York. And like, it is kind of a power move.
It is a big power move.
So she does have this power move. And that's great. But I also am like, that's not like Eleanor still has all the power over you throughout the relationship. She is going to have power over you.
Yeah.
So I liked it in the moment. I actually really felt like this movie, like right now we are over analyzing this. If I took myself away from it and watched this movie, I would be like, this is very sweet. And
I was even moved in that moment when she was like, you know, like, I'll leave. And in the future, when he finds a girl that you like, they'll be down there playing with the kids and you'll be so happy. And I want you to know that you're happy. And it's because of me, a child of like a single mother, immigrant woman, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I don't know. It was powerful. It did something for me.
It was a very powerful moment. And then the like, then we get to the plane, him stopping her on the plane moment. And when he
one of the classic plane moments, we get a plane moment. They got to stop you from traveling.
Yes. And he pulls out to propose again in a fight. This dude sucks at planning proposals. But it's his mom's ring. And I was like,
disgusting. Isn't that disgusting?
I felt like the romantic in me was like, aw. But I
was grossed out.
I feel like it was like her being like, I accept you into the family. But I agree. Again, I feel like there are two parts to watching this movie. There is the overanalyzing part that we're doing right now, in which this relationship is not great and this mom is awful and like all of these horrible things. But also, if I just watched it like lightly, I would think that was cute.
I enjoyed it until I think about it. I mean, I think that what really affected the mom was her, after this conversation with Eleanor and Mahjong, going to the son and seeing the son sad, because a boy just has to be sad enough to get what he wants from his mom.
Mom will give the boy anything.
And so now her mom is in, and so you can get married to her. Do you know how? Like,
no,
that's so
it is fucked
to
up,
me.
and it's like totally manipulative, which is, again, the mom is manipulating the situation. Eleanor is always going to have power over this relationship. So I don't know, but I don't think he's learned anything from this.
No.
He's never stood up to his mom. He's never done anything.
Nothing.
He kind of fought for her and he called her mom. So he's not a terrible dude, but like, you are always going to be less than, and in the future, then you're going to be cheating on him. And you know, that's how this ends up.
I mean, yeah, it's really crazy. We're not like marriage girls, but like, I understand, like, I'd have a hard time marrying someone if my mom was like, no.
I think it depends, but yeah, probably. I guess if I was a marriage girl, then I would feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I guess what's nice is that he, in theory, would do it anyway. He's not the one who's like, I'm not going to marry you.
Right.
Our girl Rachel's the one who's like, I won't marry you without like your mom, whatever.
I just feel like, do we believe that he would just ditch everything?
We're supposed to believe it.
Yeah.
But he just does feel a bit, not quite spineless, but very soft.
Yeah.
In a way, I don't know. I want to give him credit because he is still trying to marry her regardless of his mom. I don't know.
Yeah.
My last note, synchronized swimmers at the wedding. What's this? Sorry, it's the engagement party. At the end, they have an engagement party.
They go to an engagement party.
They
They're
stay one
engaged.
more night in Singapore when they're supposed to, instead of flying back.
You know, we have to stop a plane.
And he's made a big party.
She can't get a proper fucking proposal.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. This is how it ends. And honestly, okay, so I know my initial thing, I was like a year to maybe forever, and now I'm hard on 6 months.
What I read at the end, does she have to give up her whole life now or what? It's unclear.
Yeah, I feel like Rachel's gonna come to her senses. She's gonna realize that this family is a fucking mess.
Yeah.
I hope.
She is gonna be like wading through the only like saving grace in the family is maybe the grandmother, who will die.
Yes. As they do.
And Astrid, who's enjoyable, but she might go through a whole weird thing now that she's
that
like.
Could be fun.
She could be a good time. She could be a good time.
I love a divorced woman.
But there's no reason everyone in the town won't still hate our girl.
Yes, no, it's an uphill battle, and that you're never going to win, honestly.
Yeah.
And mom's never going to actually respect you.
Nope.
Like, she's not going to actually be nice to you. And I don't actually believe that this dude is like not beholden to his mother.
Yeah.
Like he is.
It's
He's
gross.
never really, we've never seen him stand up to her. He's just like said that he did. And even then he really didn't.
No,
she did.
I don't.
She's going to have to fight with her the whole time, and that's not fun.
I don't know how this side of him plays out in every other situation, and they must have fights or arguments or like things where he's also being a big baby in other situations.
Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting that they've been together a year.
And he's like just kind of a very passive dude.
Yeah. And maybe she doesn't mind that in most situations, but this one where she's getting dead fish in her bed.
He should be losing his mind.
Yes. Did he say 6 months or forever? Are you still with the or forever option?
I think that if they get married, it's forever.
I agree. If they get married, it is forever.
But I think that actually they're going to be, this is what I think is actually going to happen. They are going to be in the process of planning this fucking wedding.
Yes.
And you know, Eleanor is going to be a nightmare.
Yes.
She's going to be a nightmare. And I think that she will finally realize what she is marrying into, and then it will end before the wedding happens.
I completely agree. Exactly agree.
So depends
Somewhere
on how
between
long.
6 months to a year.
Yeah, it takes to plan this wedding, which it's a big wedding. It could take a while.
Yeah, and she will get to make almost none of the decisions.
Yes.
It's not her wedding. It's not going to feel like her wedding. It's Eleanor's wedding.
To her beautiful baby boy.
Yeah, because her husband's always gone.
Yeah, lucky bitch.
I know. If only mine would get out of here, right?
I love Eleanor.
She's great.
She was my favorite character the whole time.
She was incredible. I really enjoyed her friend's dad. Her friend's dad was so weird in the way that like friends' dads can be so bizarre.
Yeah, dads are fucking weird most of the time.
So wacky.
Yeah.
They're just so wacky. And you're kind of like, that's what you're working with in your everyday life, friend? That's crazy.
It's like, I don't know what happens to men in their life cycle, but they do like hit a point where they just sort of get weird.
Just weird. It's just so weird. I think also like the position of dad is strange. You're not actually making the baby. You don't feel a connection. You have this person and you're like, I don't know what to do.
Like
you don't know how to bring him joy. I guess I'll be weird and see how that plays. Like it's so bizarre. So I remember one of my best friend's dad trying to reiki me out of a heart attack. It's not a heart attack. Sorry, an asthma attack. An asthma attack.
That is insane, but it would be crazier if you
It'd be crazy if it was a heart attack. But like, I just remember
that's
like
just
dads
like weird
being
hippie
so wacky.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like dads are goofy.
All right. This has been an episode.
How
do we end it?
Who do we think is going to end this relationship? Her. All right, great.
Please, our boy is too soft and whatever to ever.
All right.
He'll keep proposing to her for fun until the end of time.
He's going to keep proposing.
Yeah.
God. Hopefully one of them's good.
One of the proposals?
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, he had a whole plan in his head of what his proposal would be, but...
It's like such bullshit fucking man logic. Like, oh, here, I'm giving you this really shitty thing, but I had this great idea. Let me tell you about it. No, why don't you fucking do it?
Do it.
Why don't you do it,
Just
bitch?
grow up and do it.
All right, this has been When Harry Dumps Sally.
Follow us everywhere.
New episodes every Tuesday.
Yeah, and then do nice or negative. I don't care. Do reviews, ratings.
Yeah,
I hear that it's good
ones,
for us.
ideally.
Nice ones. We got our first hate mail.
We got somebody and that means that we're crushing it.
That's what I do. It was like, what is it? I wish podcasting equipment cost $20,000.
It was a sick burn, and I also love that it was sent from a man who had mental health advocate in his bio. So you are crushing it, sir.
Yeah, that was great.
I felt better after that.
Mm-hmm. Healthier. Mentally.
Mentally good. All right. This has been When Harry Dumps Sally.